plan was to basically study until the candle goes off, and I had to do this because I had my examination the very next day, and I was not feeling motivated at all to sit and finally study. Though I only had 7 chapters, and I do think that this was the reason why I couldn't, gather the motivation to like sit and start studying, because when you have less number of chapters or you have less number of topics, you kind of underestimate the fact that you underestimate those chapters. You feel that, oh, these are just 7 chapters, so I can easily cover these. Whereas when you have 17 chapters or 24 chapters, like in some exams I had 18 chapters, 24 chapters, 20 chapters. So in those exams, I think that I felt much more motivated to sit and study, because I knew that it was kind of intimidating, the number for me, and I knew that if I won't sit right now and study, then I won't be able to complete my syllabus, I won't be able to cover everything. And that kind of motivated me. I didn't even need the motivation. I was like, it was very obvious that you have to sit and study. But with subjects that have really less number of chapters, this happened with me in case of history and psychology, because in both the exams we only had 7-8 chapters each. So it was kind of like, again, underestimating those 7 or 8 chapters. So here I was just reading the chapter and I was trying to kind of explain it to myself, a few things. And if you can see, this is the first chapter of class 11th history, that is writing and city life. And to be honest, in the whole book, with all of those very heavy and lengthy chapters, I do believe that this is the easiest chapter. And at this point, this chapter has already come in so many examinations that it is almost like kind of rectified. So I do not usually rectify things, but it is kind of because of repeated practice. So yes, it was like memorized well, but I was still like studying it again, because I wanted that if I have already studied this chapter, and I do think that I have memorized a lot of it and I do remember a lot of it, and if any question from this chapter comes, then I should be able to answer. It shouldn't be कि last minute confidence में नहीं पढ़ा या revise नहीं किया एक बार, तो आते हुए भी I wasn't able to answer perfectly, क्योंकि ऐसे chapters में यूँ feel ना कि अगर इतनी बार पढ़ा है, if you know this chapter so well, then अगर इससे कुछ भी question आता है, so you want कि you answer so perfectly that you get the full marks, right? Also for a history examination we had 2 दिन का gap, 2 दिन की छुट्टी, but again 7 chapter थे and we had 2-day gap. तो obviously first दिन में कुछ नहीं पढ़ा, and then all I had to study in just like 1 day. So वो भी मैंने सुबह just एक chapter पढ़ा because it was quite a lengthy chapter. शाम को मैंने like 2 दिन थे, तो पहले दिन की शाम को I studied 1 chapter and I started another chapter, but that is it. I could have studied 2-3 chapters, I could have bifurcated the whole syllabus, but मैंने वो चीज़ नहीं की, and I knew कि मैं नहीं करने वाली हूँ, because it has now become kind of obvious, like really obvious, कि जब भी gap होता है I can only like push myself enough to study 1/4. So that is and बाकी का 3/4 I study the day before examination. So that is kind of like not really good honestly, but at this moment it is like that. Earlier तो it was even worse, क्योंकि मैं कुछ नहीं पढ़ती थी बाकी के दिनों में. I used to study everything, the day before the exam. And when I say study everything day before the exam, I don't mean study from the very basics कि पहली बार बुक खोल के पहली बार चैप्टर पढ़ रहा है. I just mean कि रिविजन मैं लास्ट डे पे करती हूँ. बट बिकॉज माई रिविजन इज़ यूजुअली लाइक वेरी डिटेल्ड दैट आई गो थ्रू एवरी थिंग अगेन बिकॉज आई डोंट वॉन्ट टू मिस अ पॉइंट, any fact, any detail. So it usually takes a lot of time for me to revise a chapter compared to others around me.